Good evening and welcome to the Oliveboard platform. My name is Marut Sharma, your logical reasoning expert, and I welcome you all to this new beginning. Okay. So today's session will be starting blood relations. We'll be understanding the absolute basics of it. We'll understand it from ground zero. So for those of you for who this topic might be new, they'll get a good idea of it. And for those who already know, this will be a good revision of your concepts. And I'm very sure you're going to learn something, some little information maybe, but something new, hopefully. Okay. But before I officially start, let me know if you're able to clearly see me and hear me. Just put it in the chat box and then I'll start. Hi Arvind, good evening. Okay, thank you so much. Perfect. So let's start. So when I say blood relations, the understanding of the basic is absolutely necessary. You have to understand what the basic is, how to relate, okay, how to draw a relation, how to convert it graphically, how to read it better, and then how to analyze accordingly. Okay. So let's start. So when I say blood relations, what exactly happens in this section? This question under logical reasoning tests your indirect association, how you can associate things, how you can draw a link between things, a relationship between things, and how you can analyze, right? So a link or a chain is created among relatives, and that is always in the indirect form. Okay. For example, there are two forms of relationships. The first form is the direct form, like I am the son of my father, right? Or somebody is my father. So he is the father, I am the son. It's a direct relationship, father-son. But I am the son of my mother's husband's younger son's father. I am the son of my mother's husband's younger son's father. Basically, I am the son of my father. That's what I'm saying, but in an indirect format. Okay. At one place, I can say that that man is his uncle. That man is his uncle. On the other hand, I can say that man is his father's brother, or that man is his mother's brother. He's again the uncle. So at one point I am talking about a direct relationship, and on the other point I am talking about an indirect relationship. So what happens is, under blood relations, the questions are given to you in an indirect form mostly, and you have to convert the relationships and get your direct answer. Okay, clear? So questions like, if X is the brother of Y, Y is the sister of Z, Z is the father of W, W is the mother of G, G is the niece of P, how is X related to P? Something of that sort. Now, initially, maybe for 1 or 2 levels, you will be able to gauge easily. You will be able to gauge very easily. But as soon as you lose touch, as soon as you deviate, that is when the real problem starts occurring. Because after, as and when, the more the levels, the more confusing it gets for you to understand. So for that, we use the method of, the tool of family tree. So we basically convert the whole question into the form of a tree and then give the correct answer. Okay. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Very good. Now, under the category of blood relations, there are a few things which you need to know. So today's session, I'll be teaching you how to make a tree. All right. I also have a list of basic relationships which I'll send to you in the next session. In today's session, I am only going to teach you what blood relations is all about, and we'll be solving a few questions. I have a good list where you can understand what are the direct and indirect forms of all the common relationships which exist, right? So you can go through that list and understand better. I'll provide that list in the next session of blood relations in the PDF itself. Now, before we start blood relations officially, we need to have some pointers in mind as do's and don'ts. What you can do, what you cannot do, what you have to refrain from doing. Okay. So whenever you start the question of a blood relationship, Number one, the first and foremost thing is never compare those relationships with yourself as the center. A lot of students who try to solve these questions on themselves, they make a habit, they build a habit. What they do is, when they read the question, supposedly the question is saying X is the father, or X is the X's father's sister's son. So they'll imagine, okay, it's me, my father, my father's sister, so my aunt, paternal aunt, that is my bua, and her son. Oh, it's my cousin. Oh, they're talking about Rahul. Oh, yeah, okay. Don't do that. There is a primary reason why you don't have to do that. It seems easy and you can solve some questions. There's no doubt about that. But you tend to make an error somewhere or the other because the examiner does not know you. Okay. In some cases, you might not have that relationship which is given in the question. Point number one. Point number two, there might be a gender mismatch. So the question might be from the point of view of a woman, but you are thinking from the point of view of a man or a male, or vice versa. In that case, the chances of making an error, are grave. So to avoid that, the primary rule of importance here is that you do not assume anything no matter what. So you do not, attach to yourself. You do not keep yourself at the center of your assumption of your tree formation. You will observe all the relationships like a third party, like a neutral person, like a third party. Okay? You will not get involved in the question. Clear? So far so good? Now, that is the first rule. So, do not compare with own relations. Do not compare with own relations. Point number two. This is the most important point of blood relations. Okay. This point number two says, do not and strictly do not assume. Assume what? Assume the gender. Do not assume the gender unless specified in the question. So do not read the gender from the name. If I tell you Rahul, don't assume it to be a male. If I tell you Priya, don't assume it to be a female. It's a very common thing which all of us do, right? If the question is saying Rohit's, anything. Rohit is Rohit's sister. Rohit's sister is Priya. So here we are sure that Priya is the woman. Priya is a girl because she is the sister. But Rohit, a lot of people will assume him to be the brother, already or automatically. And that is where you are making a mistake. That is where you are making an error. Rohit's sister. Rohit may be a sister herself. Rohit may be a girl herself. In the question, in real life maybe not, but in the question, the examiner does do this. That what the examiner does is that they can give you a male, a very normal, regular male name, and it will represent a female and vice versa. Okay, now why does this rule come into picture? Because we have a lot of gender neutral names also. So you actually should not and cannot assume genders with name. For example, I take a name Santosh. I take a name Pushpa. You're not sure nowadays whether it's a male or a female. It can be anything. So at your stage, you will never assume the gender unless and until specified. Now, how will the specification happen? Either there will be an indirect relationship given to you. Like I said, Rohit's sister Priya. So Priya is a sister means Priya is a female, that is for sure. Or they will use pronouns. They will say Rohit and his friends. Now the moment you see the word his, that means Rohit has become a male. Automatically we have understood that. Right? So this is the second most important rule. Do not and strictly do not assume the gender from the name. Remember this is the most important point. Okay. Guys who are watching it on YouTube, like the session and share it across platforms, guys, so that others can also join in. This demo session is for you to have a better understanding of the topic and how the classes occur at our end, right? So definitely hit the like button, share this video and subscribe to the channel if you are new, right? And do comment. You can cross question in the comments also if you don't understand anything. Point number three. Point number three tells me that if I am using the word only, I have to be slightly cautious. I have to be slightly cautious. In what sense? So if I am saying A's father's only son, there is a possibility we are talking about A only. We'll give preference to A here. Unless we know A is a female, unless we know it's a female, A's father's only son is A only. Okay, and A's father's son will be A's preferably brother. Are you getting it? So the moment we added only here, it changed. A's father's only son is probably A. Unless it is given that A is a female. If A is a female, then the only son can be some son, her brother. She is the daughter, so only one son. But if it is A's father's son, your first preference has to be A's brother, not A himself. My father's son will not be me first, it will be my brother. Priority while solving the question will be given to my brother. But if they are talking about my father's only son, then the priority will be given to me, because I am not sure whether I have siblings or not, according to the question. Till the time extra information is given in the question, this is how your assumption is going to look like. Okay, so the word only has to be taken into consideration. There is another point, a fourth point here, which I usually have almost stopped informing now, because it is not very important. Once upon a time, under blood relations, there used to be a question where they used to count family members, and I have brought one question for you in today's list also. So we'll see that. When you have to count family members, what exactly happens is a lot of students by default used to count dead members also. The question specified. For example, the question will say that A is a widow. Okay, A is a widow of B. That's how they start the question. A is the widow of B. A's son C and his wife D have a daughter E. How many male members are there in the family? That's the question. Okay, how many male members are there in the family? A lot of people end up giving the answer 2, because they say A is the widow of B. That means B was the husband, but he's dead. A is the wife. So they don't draw, they straight away start drawing the tree and convert it. How many male members? 2, and they give the answer. Do not count dead members unless and until specified. So that is why I have stopped teaching it, because they have almost stopped asking this question. But still I am letting you know here, do not count dead members unless specified. Maybe in the question they might say, after giving you this question, they will say that how many male members are there in the family, including dead members. Living and dead. It can be written how many male members are there in the family, bracket living and dead. So then you have to count. Okay. So these are the do's and don'ts which I want you to remember. The do's and don'ts of blood relationship. We haven't done anything. I haven't taught you anything as far. So far I have not taught you any valuable information as far as your examination is concerned. We haven't started officially yet. This is just a brief introduction of what you need to know. Okay, you have to be careful about these pointers before we proceed further. Now I want to ask you a question. Now I have given you 2 examples. Okay, I have given you 2 examples. Now you read these examples, both everybody. Number 1, Rajesh is the father of Suresh. Number 2, Sunita is the mother of Sakshi. Okay, cool. Now Rajesh is the father of Suresh. It implies Rajesh is the father, he is a male, and Suresh is his son. Correct? Rajesh is the father and Suresh is the son. Similarly, Sunita is the mother of Sakshi. So Sunita is the mother and Sakshi is the daughter. Correct? Yes or no? Just tell me, did you understand this or not? So from these sentences, we can conclude that Rajesh is the father, Suresh is the son, Sunita is the mother, Sakshi is the daughter. Is it okay, everybody? Yes or no? Please participate. Put it in the chat box. Take the pains of writing at least a Y or an N. Very good, Arvind. Excellent. So, I am very sure a lot of you who did not answer thought that, yeah, I mean, it's correct, it's right. Rajesh is the father, he is a male. Suresh is the son, he is also a male. Sunita is the mother, she is a female. Sakshi is the daughter, she is also female. Rajesh is the father, is perfect, this is given. So, it is he is a male for sure. But about Suresh, we are not sure. Again, your brain tricked you. Just reading the name, you thought that Suresh is a son. Suresh can be the daughter in your question also. You will not assume the gender of Suresh unless the question specifies. This is the rule which I was talking to you about. Rajesh is the father of Suresh. Perfect. Rajesh is a male. We don't know about Suresh. Similarly, Sunita is the mother of Sakshi. So, Sunita is definitely a female because she is a mother. But about Sakshi in this question, unless it is specified, we are not sure. If it was written that Sakshi is the sister of, let's say, somebody, or Sakshi is the mother of somebody, then you would have confirmed that yes, Sakshi is also a female. Done? Understood? So, this is important. You cannot assume the gender merely by looking at the name, and you have to build this habit inside you, because your blood relation is a complete question. It depends on this one important logic. Why? Because sometimes in the options it will be given cannot be determined. You will read the name, you will assign the gender, you will accordingly solve the question, you will get your answer, you will take and go. But actually the answer was cannot be determined because the gender could not be determined. Okay. Now, let's learn how to make the tree. How to make the family tree. Technically, blood relations can be asked to you in various methods. Okay. The questions can be put across to you in various approaches, various methods. They can be direct questions. They can be pointing based questions or introduction based questions, that if a third person is introducing somebody and then you form a tree and find the relationship. Or they can be given in a coded form, coded blood relations, right? Any which ways they are given, always use a single approach. We will stick to this approach only. A lot of students use multiple approaches for multiple types of questions. You can do that. If you are free, if you are already aware, you are free to use whatever method you want. But trust me, if you stick to one method and keep solving questions regularly with this method, you will get very fast as this also. The benefit of this method is that this can be applicable in all types of questions. You don't have to learn separate methods for separate types in that case. Okay, even number of generations you can count from this, right? So learning the family tree, how to draw the family tree is very important. Now, you will have to be with me here, okay? For the next 10, 12 minutes, 15 minutes, you have to listen to me very carefully, because once you understand this, blood relations is over. Nothing else is left. Nothing else for me to teach you, okay? Now, when I draw a family tree, I need to keep some pointers in mind. Point number one, I will always use the initials of the names, not the complete names. So, if my question said Rahul, I would write R. If my question says Priya, I would write P. I would always use only initials in my question. Why? It saves time. As simple as that. It saves time. Writing Rahul is easier. Writing R is easier than writing RAHUL. No. And if I have in the question, if I have Rahul and Rajesh, then I can write RA and RJ or RH and RJ. That depends. You can use another letter to differentiate. Cool. So writing initials is always easy. Use the initials. Point number two, which is a very important point. If you want to depict a male in the question. So if you are aware that this person is a male or this person is a female, how will you depict them? Again, there are multiple methods which people use to depict the male and female. What I prefer is that if you know that Rahul is a male, you draw R and you write a plus sign on top. So you assign an index of plus, a power of plus. And if you know that Priya is a female, then you will simply write a minus on the 2. That way it will become easier for you to decipher, to understand. Okay? That way it will become easier for you to understand. When you are reading the question, it will be clear to you that this is a male and this is a female. Now, a lot of people draw a square around Rahul and a circle around Priya. So, Rahul square means a male, circle means a female. But that there will be a problem with that. Supposedly, you have to draw 10 males in the question. If this is the father of this is the brother of this is the nephew of this is the uncle of this. You're keeping on, extending the tree. You're showing 10 members. Now, you're very quick at drawing the square. So, you're drawing like, okay, A is the father of B. B is the brother of C. Okay, C is the uncle. Okay, oh. By the time you're reaching here, you will not be able to recognize or differentiate between a square and a circle. And that may become a problem. Okay, so it's always better to differentiate clearly, because unnecessarily you will waste time in drawing also. Every second is very important. The third point is the most important point for blood relations family tree method. That is the generation level. The generation level. Now I'll explain it to you what this is all about. Because your complete tree formation depends upon this one pointer. Okay? Now, whenever I teach blood relations to students, apart from this, I always teach one thing to them, that blood relations has an advantage in the regional and Hindi language as compared to English. Okay? And there is a very simple reason for that. Why? Because let's suppose I am talking about my uncle. So my father's brother is my uncle. My father's younger brother is my uncle. My father's elder brother is my uncle. My father's sister's husband is also my uncle. My mother's brother is also my uncle. My mother's sister's husband also my uncle. Okay, so there are multiple uncles on that level and I cannot differentiate between them easily. Whereas in my regional language, any regional language you pick up, or Hindi, every different relationship has a different name to it. Every different relationship has a different name to it. So if it was my father's elder brother, Tauji. Father's chota brother, I'm saying. Father's younger brother, Chachaji. Okay. Father's sister's husband, Fufaji. Mother's brother, Mamaji. Mother's sister's husband, Mausaji. Everybody has a different name. So it becomes very easy for you to decipher. So if you are good in Hindi and these relationships, sometimes if you are getting confused, just look at the Hindi version and try to solve it. If you are not good at Hindi, then there has to be an understanding. For that, the people who devised English made a confusion breaker for you, but that is only slightly applicable. They differentiated based on the words paternal and maternal. Okay, what is the difference? Paternal means your father's side, maternal means your mother's side. So if I am talking about my father's brother, rather than saying only uncle, I will say paternal uncle. If I am saying my mother's brother, rather than saying simply uncle, I would say maternal uncle. So that slightly removes the confusion, but still my father's elder brother, younger brother and my father's sister's husband, all three will be my paternal uncles. Similarly, my mother's brother and my mother's sister's brother, my mother's sister's husband, both will be my maternal uncles. So that has to be differentiated based on the question. Okay, but this helps when you go another step above, that is when you talk about grandfathers and grandmothers. In Hindi or regional languages again, your father's father is your Dadaji, father's mother is your Dadi, okay, and mother's father is Nanaji and mother's mother is Nani. You all know that. Now, in English again, father's father is grandfather, mother's father is also grandfather, father's mother is grandmother, mother's mother is also grandmother. Now, regionally we have different names. Somebody calls them Nana, Grandpa, whatever. Regionally in English also people do that. But in official English there is no such word. So again paternal, maternal helps here a lot. Paternal grandfather, maternal grandfather, paternal grandmother, maternal grandmother. Now after all this explanation, I have one question for you. See, everything I am explaining, there is a reason behind it. You tell me before we proceed further, if I differentiate the words paternal and maternal. Okay. What did these words imply? I have already clarified to you. Paternal means father's side. All relations on father's side can be labeled as paternal. All relations on mother's side can be labeled as maternal. So maternal aunt, paternal aunt, everybody is different. Now, if somebody is a grandfather, okay, then he has a son, okay, or let's suppose I'll show it to you like this. If K is a person, is a male, okay, K is a male, and he has one son, L, and one daughter, M. Okay, one son L and one daughter M. Now this son has another son O, and this daughter has another son P. Now you tell me, O is the paternal grandson and P is the maternal grandson. Who is the paternal grandson and who is the maternal grandson of K? How will we differentiate? Who is the paternal grandson of K and who is the maternal grandson of K? Tell me. Put it in the chat box, everybody. Who is the paternal grandson and who is the maternal grandson of K? Yes, anyone? Very good. Arvind already knows his blood relations very well. Huh? Good job. Now again, I am very sure those who have chosen not to answer at all, those who are just quietly observing everything, I am sure a lot of you have thought that O is the paternal grandson and P is the maternal grandson. Well, that is not the case. Why? Because the words maternal, paternal can only be used going upwards in your relationship, never coming downwards. Because paternal implies father's side. This is not K's father, no, this is K's son. K's son, K's daughter. So, paternal, maternal is above K. Everybody who is above K will be paternal and maternal for K. For L and M, there can be paternal, maternal. Okay. So, for O, paternal grandfather. For P, maternal grandfather. You can do that. But coming down, you cannot do that. Coming down, both of them, O and P, both are grandsons to K. Both are grandsons to K. You cannot use the word paternal, maternal coming downwards in your generations. Okay. So, with this, mostly all your confusion should be over now, wherever you get stuck usually. Now, we'll come on this point. We have not yet started. Okay. Yes, eminent educators. Absolutely. I know that this is a very common confusion, but hopefully it is clear to you now. Okay. There is no paternal grandson and maternal grandson. Grandsons or granddaughters are only grandsons and granddaughters, because the words paternal and maternal can only be used going upwards in your generations, not while coming downwards. Okay. Now, coming back to the generation level. So, in a person's life, in any living person's life, the generations can be in 3 different directions. Okay. Direction number 1 is a generation above you. So, going on the top. Who is it? So, one step above is the just generation above you, that is your father, your mother, your uncles, your aunts, everybody. So, father's brother, father's younger brother, elder brother, okay, father's sister, father's sister's husband, everybody, and mother's brother, mother's sister, mother's sister's husband, mother's brother's wife, everybody is on the same platform. Everybody is one generation above you. But directly connected people to you will be your father and mother, that is a blood relation. The others will be, they will not be connected. They will just be shown in the tree. I'll show it to you. Everything I will show here. Don't worry. So, one direction is above you. So, one step above you is this generation. Next step above you is their father and mother. That means your grandfather and grandmother. So, both paternal, maternal, grandfather, grandmother, paternal, maternal, grandmother, paternal, maternal, grandfather, grandmother. Okay. 2 steps above them is your great grandparents, great grandfather, great grandmother. Okay, grandfather's father, grandmother's mother. So, we have gone 2 steps, 3 steps above. So, this is one direction of going upwards from a central point. Next is sideways. Now when I talk sideways, in this direction, all those people who belong to my generation will be a part of it. Like my siblings, brothers, sisters, my cousins, okay, everybody on the same line. So my uncle's son, my aunt's daughter, all these people are my cousins, and my brothers and sisters, my siblings, will only be the ones who are my fathers and mothers, sons and daughters. Okay. So remember, in the question, if they use the word brother or sister, they imply your blood brother and blood sister. That means your real brother and real sister of the same parents. But if they use the word cousin, that implies that your uncle's or aunt's son or daughter. Okay, not your direct brother or direct sister. Remember, they will never use the word brother for cousin or sister for cousin. Also, in English language, it's a very common policy which a lot of you fall into, is that you attach the word brother or sister after cousin, not allowed. Cousin is, gender neutral. The word itself is gender neutral. Cousin can be a male, cousin can be a female. You don't have to attach cousin brother. Oh, meet him, he is my cousin brother. Totally wrong. It's incorrect as per English language. Oh, meet him, he is my cousin. Meet her, she is my cousin. So this her and him actually differentiates between the genders. That's it. So this one particular answer can be given without knowing the gender. Even if you don't know the gender, but if the answer is cousin, you can still mark it without any issue. You will not say cannot be determined because you know that it is not gender specific. Okay. Now we move on to the next level. The next level is, the third direction is below. So we had on the top, we had sideways, and now we have below. So immediately after this generation, the next generation will be sons, daughters, nieces, nephews. Okay. Sons, daughters will be directly connected. Nieces, nephews will be my siblings' sons and daughters. Okay. Another step downwards will be grandsons and granddaughters. Okay. So this is the complete scope of a generation gap of 3 generations, and you can add more if you want to, 3 to 4 generations or 6 generations for that matter. Okay. So this is what we have to understand. So how do we depict? So when we are showing a person who is above a generation, we simply draw a line upwards and we mention the person here. Okay. If you are showing a generation below, we simply draw a line like this and we show the person below here. And if you are showing a person on the equal generation, we can simply draw a straight line and the person can be shown either which ways. Okay. A lot of people draw arrows, not required. It's totally not required. Unnecessary waste of time. Now, once you have understood all this information, I can just give you a brief tree. Okay. Because making the tree, as important as it is to make a tree, equally important to read the tree. You have to learn to read the tree. Okay. So now I will use some words. And simultaneously show how to plot that. Okay. So it will become clearer for you that how to draw it and how to read it. So first of all, I'll start with A is the brother of B. So A is the brother of B implies A is a male and is a brother of B. Brother means blood brother. They share the same parents. Okay. A is the brother of B. C is the sister of B. C is the sister of B. Okay. C is the sister of B. Done. A is the brother of B. C is the sister of B. Cool. How is A related to C? How is A related to C? So A is the brother of C because see, A is the brother of B. C is the sister of B. So A is also the brother of C. C is also the sister of A. How is B related to A? Cannot be determined because never, at no place have I specified what is the gender of B. So B can be either brother or sister. So I will say cannot be determined. How is B related to A or B related to C? We don't know. But how is A related to B, A related to C, or C related to B, C related to A? Both sisters and brothers. Okay. Now the next one from here is K is the father of B. So father means the generation above. So from B we'll draw a line on top and we'll write K, and K is a father. So this implies K is the father of B. Now how is K related to A? Of course, if A is the brother of B and K is the father of B, K is also the father of A. See, it doesn't seem to be directly connected, but it is indirectly connected. So you don't have to draw a line each time. You just have to learn to read here. How will you read? that A, B and C are 3 children of K. K is the father, A is the son, C is the daughter, and we don't know about B yet. So even if you connect it with one person, it does not make a difference. But the connection will always be a straight line. If I wanted to show K as the father of A, I would have drawn it here. You never draw it in a slant way. Okay. Now, I want to write, let's say, D is the daughter of A. So D is the daughter of A. And E is the son of C. E is the son of C. So this is how I'll draw it. D is the daughter of A and E is the son of C. So how is A related to E? How is A related to E? You can keep writing the answers in the chat box if you understand. How is A related to E? So A is E's mother's brother, that is maternal uncle. A is the maternal uncle of E. How is E related to A? E is the nephew of A, A's sister's son. So remember the question, how is A related to E? So you need to specify A's relation. A's relation is a maternal uncle. How is E related to A? So you have to specify E's relation, that is a nephew. Look at the question and then answer. The direction of the question is also important. How is D related to C? So D is the niece of C, C's brother's daughter. How is C related to D? C is the aunt of D, D's father's sister. So paternal aunt of D. C is the paternal aunt of D, A is the maternal uncle of E. Correct? Very good. Yes. Absolutely right. Good job. Now, how is K related to D? How is K related to D? So D's father's father, paternal grandfather. And how is E related to K? So K's daughter's son, grandson. K's daughter's son, grandson. So E is the grandson of K, D is the granddaughter of K is the paternal grandfather of D, and K is the maternal grandfather of E. So far so good. Any problem, any issue? And how about D and E, guys? How about D and E? So I told you they may be on the same level. See, they are on the same level here, but they are not connected to each other. That means they are cousins. If they were on the same level and connected to each other, real brothers and sisters. If on the same level, not connected to each other, cousins. Cool. How many generations are here? So you will simply look at the number of horizontal lines. So line 1, line 2, line 3. So we are talking about 3 different generations here. There are 3 generations in this question so far. Okay. But the question doesn't end here. For a very long time, blood relations only involved these people. People who are directly connected to you, your father and your mother. All these people are your blood relations. Then there was another additional relationship added, which is usually at a later stage in your life. You get married. So you have a spouse. Now that spouse, why am I using the word spouse? Because it may be a husband, it may be a wife. Because I may be talking to a man or a woman. So accordingly, you can have a spouse, a partner. That spouse has his or her own blood relations. So those blood relations after your marriage also become your blood relations. But then you have to differentiate. Because you have a father here. Your spouse has a father. Now he is also your father. You can't have 2 fathers. So what will you do? One is a father. The other becomes a father by law. Because you're married by law. So all the blood relatives get added to your blood relations by law, and that is why we use the suffix in-law. So one is father, the blood father, the other is father-in-law, that is your spouse's father. Okay, father-in-law, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law. We don't use the word wife-in-law or spouse-in-law or husband-in-law. Please don't do that. Okay, so you have, if a person is a husband, he has a wife, father-in-law, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law. Everything is possible. Okay, and vice versa. If a person is a woman, she has a husband, father-in-law, mother-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law. Clear? So this is what blood relations is all about. But how do we depict that? How do we depict that? So the 4th point here is marriage. Now to depict a couple, exactly what happens is, a couple is also assumed to be on the same generation level. See, now a lot of people tell me, that, sir, there are couples who are, let's say, a few years apart. They may be 15 years apart. Usually in 15 years, the generation changes. So generation is changing. How can we show the marriage on the same level? Don't consider special cases. Logical reasoning only talks to you about logical things. Logical means generally if it was true. Not for specific cases. They never overthink, never get into specific cases. Okay. So when I talk about marriage, the marriage has to be at the same generation level and with opposite gender only. So if one is a male, if it is married to somebody, it has to be a female. Directly you can assign the gender. You don't have to, you have that thought that a male can be married to a male also. We are only talking about conventional marriages here. Okay. So now that is why to differentiate between a single line, that is siblings, and marriage, we use a double line to depict a marriage or a couple. So now if I tell you that C was married to F. C was married to F. So we know that if C was a girl, a woman, F has to be a husband, a male. Okay, F has to be a husband, a male. Got it? So now you can clearly see C is married to F, C is the wife, F is the husband. How is E related to F? E is the son of F because E is the son of C, C is the wife of F. So E is also the son of F, F is the father of E, E is the son of F. How is A related to F? So A is the brother-in-law of F, that is F's wife's brother. And how is F related to A? F is also the brother-in-law of A, A's sister's husband. How is D related to F? So D's father's sister's husband. D is the niece of F. D is also the niece of F. Okay. And how is F related to D? F is the paternal uncle of D. D's father's sister's husband. Paternal uncle of D. Fufaji in Hindi or regional languages. How is K related to F? So F's wife's father-in-law. How is F related to K? K's daughter's husband, son-in-law. Cool. How is B related to F? Cannot be determined. Cannot be determined because we don't know the gender. Okay. Cool. Now let me show another relationship here. I will draw, let's say, a mother of F. So we have G is the mother of F. G is the mother of F. Remember, you have to keep the levels same. Okay. So this level has to be approximately same. They are on the same generation level. So G is the, sorry, I have drawn a father. G is the mother of F. Now how is G related to C? So G is the mother-in-law of C. How is C related to G? C is the daughter-in-law of G. How is E related to G? E is the grandson of G. And how is G related to E? G is the paternal grandmother of E. Now there arises a question. In our regional languages, we have names for each specific blood relation. Trust me, that's very true. There are names which you don't even know, which you have never used in your daily life, but they exist for each relationship, separate names for each relationship. But in English, that is not the case. So if I suddenly ask you now, please tell me what is the relationship between K and G? What is the relationship between K and G? And what is the relationship between A and G? How is A related to G and how is K related to G? So in Hindi, we call them Samdhan and Samdhi. Okay. A lot of people start calling him also as the son-in-law. They think that, okay, all the males are son-in-laws and all the females are daughter-in-laws. That is not the case. In reality, in English, you will say these relations do not exist. Do not exist. It simply implies that there is no name for these relationships. They are nameless. If a question at all comes and they ask you how is K related to G, and in the options it is written either cannot be determined or relationship does not exist, you will take that. Otherwise, they will give you an indirect option. Indirectly, you can depict them. How is K related to G? So, G's daughter-in-law's father or G's son's father-in-law. Correct. You can do that. Tick that. Not a problem. Cool. But otherwise, K and G or A and G, the relationships do not exist. Understood? So, this was the complete write-up of what a family tree looks like. How do you draw a family tree? All the various aspects of a family tree and how do you read a family tree. Okay. Any issue, any problem, anybody? Any problem, any issue? No? Okay. So in that case, I think we can start solving the questions. I mean, that's all I had to share with you. There is one more information. Okay, I'll give that.